Hi everybody, it's Danielle from Haverford Township Free Library, and I'm back for week 7 of Fantastical Fridays, where each week we're building a craft so that by the end of our summer programs you have your very own indoor fairy garden. This week we are making signs for our fairy garden. We don't have the fairies in there yet. We're getting it all set up for them. So we're going to make a sign that says, "Welcome fairies," and we're going to make a sign that gives different directions for different parts of the fairy garden. So this is a pretty simple craft. You're going to need some popsicle sticks. I have 5, some paint, a marker, some hot glue. Remember, if you're using hot glue, let the grown-ups use it because hot glue is hot for a reason. So we don't want anybody to get burned. You can use regular glue. I'm going to use hot glue for this video just because it'll set faster. But you can use regular glue. It'll just take a little more time to set. So we're going to make the welcome fairy sign first. That's pretty simple. You're just going to take 2 of your popsicle sticks. All right, put a nice dollop of glue on there and squish it together. Okay, that's all. Just making a little sign like that. We're going to put that one aside. Okay, the other one you're going to take, you have your 3 popsicle sticks left. You're going to take 2 of them and break them in half. And that's okay if there are jagged on the edges because I think that makes it look a little more rustic. So take your popsicle stick. Let's do a dab of glue here. Two. Three. And 4. There's your directional sign there. Hot glue dries pretty quickly, so we are going to paint it. I want mine green, and my green is a little too light green, so I'm going to add a dab of brown to it to make it a little darker. All right. Gonna mix this up. To give it more of a tree green or an olivey green there. All right, let's paint. Our first one is done. While that dries, and it'll dry pretty quickly, I'm going to move on to the second one. And I'm going to paint the stem the same green color as the first one. Okay, but now I'm going to do the signs a little different. I'm going to have a little dab of blue for one, and a little dab of yellow for the other. All right, let's move back to our first sign now, and let's fancy it up a little bit. So I have a flower here and some stems from some dried flowers, or not dried flowers, from some fake flowers. So I just cut this off of a fake flower vine there. I'm going to cut off a few more pieces, and I'm going to wind this around. Oop, come back here. Okay. All right, let's get these little pieces here. And let's see which one goes around nicely. That one does. Now I don't want any big globs of glue on the front, so I'm going to hold this on by gluing it on the back here. Okay, that'll hold that one on. And let's see, maybe this one next. Okay, there. Let's do another glob on the back to hold that on. Oh, let's do a little flower at the top there. And you can decorate this however you want. All right, now I have my pen. I have just a black Sharpie. You can use a regular marker, and I'm going to write "Welcome to the Fairies." I'll try to write it as fancy as I can, which is not very fancy. Welcome. Fairies. There we go. There we go. That's one sign down. Our second one is pretty much dry, so we can write on that too. So you can decide what you want to call your different directional signs. So for this one, I have Flower Avenue, Snail Crossing, Fairy Way, and Gnome Drive. Let's see how these look in our fairy garden. Okay, here's what we have for our fairy garden so far. So I put my sign there, Welcome Fairies. Then there's the directional sign there. I used some pipe cleaners wrapped around it to help hold it up there. I think what you can do is get some Play-Doh and make a little base, and the Play-Doh will dry, and that's how it will stand. Let's take a look at the rest of the things we have. There was the snail we made from one of the weeks. There's the door and the flower and the house that we made. Another door and a flower and another house. There's a gnome. There's our beautiful painted rocks that we used to make a path up to the doorway. And there's our dragonflies. So we have a couple more weeks before we make the fairies to join our garden. Right now, this is looking so great. So thanks for joining me this week for Fantastical Fridays. I hope you're building your fairy garden along with me. And if you are, please show me some photos. I'd love to see how it's coming along. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.